Welcome to An Author Dissects a Narrative with your host, Husna Haze. In this captivating series, we will unravel the intricate tapestries of your favorite movies, TV shows, games, books, and beyond. Prepare to embark on a journey of analysis and exploration as we uncover the hidden gems and profound themes within these beloved narratives. Remember to show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing. For a regular dose of insightful content, let's delve into the realms of storytelling together. Welcome back to the Deconstructed Universe. That's right. From the title of this video, we're gonna be analyzing and really pulling apart the character of Alicent Hightower and comparing the TV version to the book version. So, I've been saying this since, season 1 started, that Alicent Hightower was a terrible mother. And, with the end of season 2 and the season finale, and we saw how she basically at the end of that episode served her sons up to a silver platter to Rhaenyra, saying like, I want to be free. I don't want to be burdened anymore. After she started this whole mess, after I've been saying like she needs to embrace her inner Cersei Lannister, and she hasn't done any of that. I just feel like, to just understand this character better and see where things got lost in translation, or just to see if she is a good mother, or if this is just something that the writers decided to take because they wanted to veer off from the main character in the books. We don't know, but we're gonna find out. So in Fire and Blood, Alicent Hightower is a character deeply embedded in the political machinations of King's Landing. As the daughter of Sir Otto Hightower, Hand of the King, Alicent is groomed from a young age to be a player in the Game of Thrones. She's married off to King Viserys I Targaryen, not because of love or even a political alliance, but because of her father's ambition and the king's desire for a new wife after the death of Queen Emma. Alicent's primary role in the book is to secure her children's future. She is the mother who will do anything to see her son Aegon on the Iron Throne, even if it means going against her childhood friend Rhaenyra. But here's where the book version of Alicent shines. She is a strategist, not a mere pawn. She understands the stakes and plays her hand carefully. Now we're going to get into a quote that really stands out, and I feel like shines a lot of light into Alicent as the character in the books. So from Fire and Blood, quote, Alicent had grown up in the shadow of power, and now that she was at its center, she played her role to perfection, unquote. In the books, Alicent is often seen as cold, calculating, and driven by her sense of duty to her family. But she's also pragmatic. She knows that in this ruthless world of Westeros, there is no room for sentimentality. This makes her compelling and, in many ways, a tragic figure. She's not evil, but she is deeply flawed. Her love for her children is real, but it's entangled with her ambition, making her actions both understandable and at times unforgivable. Now, let's shift to her portrayal in House of the Dragon. The HBO adaptation presents Alicent in a somewhat different light, like we've already, touched upon, adding layers to her character that weren't as explicitly, highlighted in the books. The show paints her initially as a more sympathetic character, which is how I felt for her. Someone who is thrust into the position of power and is conflicted amongst, other things against her will. In the show, we see Alicent's internal struggle more vividly. She starts off as a close friend to Rhaenyra, a girl who is thrust into a loveless marriage with the king after the death of her mother, of Rhaenyra's mother. The show emphasizes her youth, her isolation, and her deep-seated insecurities. This Alicent is more of a victim of circumstance, manipulation by her father, and trapped in a role she never wanted. Now, this is where I was really rooting for Alicent, because this portrays how, Westeros is like a world of men. It's a patriarchal society. So in this sense, in this light, the way that they portray her in the beginning, I really fell in love with how she really didn't have a choice, and I really, stood for that character, and I was heavily invested in her, and I was caping for her, okay? Now, a quote from House of the Dragon, episode 5, "I did not wish for this, but I must protect my children. I must protect our blood." Now it kind of overlaps with book version of Alicent. However, as the series progresses, the cracks in her character arc begin to show majorly. Unlike the book version, this Alicent is portrayed as a less calculating and more reactive character. Her motivations often seem inconsistent, sometimes driven by fear, other times by a sense of duty or desperation. This inconsistency can be seen in her relationship with Rhaenyra. I think it's defined by her relationship with Rhaenyra. The show tries to maintain her friendship, with Rhaenyra, even as they become political rivals, which at times feels forced and undermines the darker, more ruthless aspect of her character that are more so prominent in the book. Now, the flawed character arc in the show, we're gonna get more into that. Let's dive deeper into why Alicent's character arc in the show is flawed compared to her book counterpart. One of the most glaring issues in her role as a mother in the books, Alicent is fiercely protective of her children, often to a fault. She's willing to go to war to see Aegon crowned, and this ruthless determination defines much of her character. In contrast, I want you all to literally focus on that. In contrast, the show presents a more conflicted Alicent. There's a particularly telling moment in the show when she seems almost willing to let Rhaenyra and her sons take the throne, despite the very real threat they pose to her children, despite Rhaenyra's son taking her son's eye and her never getting justice for that. So it's already established Alicent cannot protect her children against Rhaenyra, that her husband will always favor Rhaenyra. So this passivity is a stark departure from the book, where Alicent would never willingly give up her son's claim, let alone risk their lives. So, I just want us to just sit on that and just really just sit on that. I feel like Alicent has been flip-flop, 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 and not only has she been flip-flop, I feel like she's just, so from House of the Dragon, episode 8, Rhaenyra, we're going to get into a quote. So the quote begins, quote, "Rhaenyra, you're my friend. Let us end this war before it begins," unquote. Now this is all after, Aemon's lost an eye. This is all after her children have been like shadows to Rhaenyra. This is just really lost. Chef's kiss, terrible character development. So this brings us to the heart of the problem, okay? This begins to bring us to the heart of the problem. The show's Alicent often doesn't act like a mother who truly fears for her children's lives. Her actions, or lack thereof, undermine the intensity of the character's motivations. Why would a mother who knows the brutal nature of Westeros politics be so passive when it comes to the survival of her own flesh and blood? This inconsistency makes her a less compelling character and weakens the tension that drives the Dance of the Dragons. Another point to consider is the possible factor behind Alicent's flawed motherhood. The show hints at her complicated relationship with her father, Sir Otto Hightower, and her deep-seated insecurities, Otto's manipulations, and the pressures to conform to the role of queen might explain why she seems so hesitant and conflicted, but it also diminishes her agency, which is something that we've seen so much of, and don't even get me started on Helena. Instead of being a powerful, calculating player in the game, she's often reduced to a pawn, reacting rather than acting. So these are the final thoughts that I came to the conclusion of. Now feel free to, counter that in the comment section. I really want to get a discussion going because I don't know, I really love this character, and then all of a sudden, I'm just like, oh, I can't stand this character. I can't stand this character. And the tragedy of it all is that her children are doomed because of their mother. So what does this mean for Alicent Hightower as a character? In the books, she's a tragic figure, flawed but formidable. Her love for her children is real, but it's also twisted by ambition and the brutal realities of Westeros. In the show, however, her character is softened, made more sympathetic, but also less coherent. Her actions often contradict her supposed motivations, making her arc less satisfying and ultimately less believable. The inconsistencies in her character, particularly regarding her role as a mother, make her a weaker figure in the show compared to the books. Instead of a woman who will stop at nothing to protect her children, we see a character who's often indecisive, reactive, undermining the very traits that make her compelling in the first place. So in conclusion, while House of the Dragon adds interesting dimensions to Alicent Hightower, it also strips away some of the complexities that make her such a fascinating character in the books. Her portrayal on screen, while sympathetic, lacks the ruthless determination that defines her in Fire and Blood. That's a period, that can't even be argued, making her a more flawed and unfortunately less effective character. That's it for today, the deep dive into Alicent Hightower. Whether you see her as a tragic figure, a villain, or something in between, there's no denying that she's one of the most complex characters in George R.R. Martin's world. Join us next time on An Author Dissects a Narrative, where we'll be dissecting another iconic character from the world of fantasy. Until then, keep reading, keep watching, and keep questioning. Make sure you like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Welcome to the end of the video, and thank you very much for making it to the end. Make sure you check out Vertigo Honor Bound by Blood, the first installment in the Vertigo book series. It is set in 2095 at the heart of the Imperial Champion regime, where Emperor Gregory Champion rules over Earth and the colonies stretching out across the solar system, where there is a virus called the Megavirus that has mutated and changed the political landscape of Earth. This is a story about factions, about coming of age, about the importance of being firm in what you believe in a world where bloodlines matter. What faction are you?